Welcome to another Facebook business page audit as part of the FB Business Success online training program. I must say I was really excited to pull Roger Dietrich's name out of the hat today for this month's audit. You may or may not be aware, but I have a background with Masters Swimming, and so I'm really excited to be able to provide some individual feedback here on this page that I know Roger's put a lot of effort into developing. So let's get started. Just having a look at your page straight up, I love the way that you've featured your fans here with an image which is obviously representative of what you're doing. Someone's getting an award for their achievements within Masters Swimming. So that's great, and I'm hoping that you're changing that out regularly for different things that are going on, let's say different championships, different people winning things and other things that are happening within Masters Swimming New South Wales. That's a great opportunity to get in front of your fans more frequently by changing your cover image. You've also done a lot of work here in terms of apps, and I'm going to get back to that in just a moment. But first of all, I'm just going to take a look down the page and see what's happening in terms of your posting and your engagement. So when I look down here, I see that you posted last 17 hours ago, 18 hours ago, and what have we got here? 19 hours ago, 19 hours ago. Okay, so that's a lot of posts in quick succession, and I'd get you, Roger, to have a look on your page. I can't see it here because I'm not an administrator. When it says how much reach you're getting per post, because you're posting them in quick succession, I would guess that you're probably doing yourself a disservice because Facebook won't serve up all of those posts at once to your fans. So you're probably better to use the schedule feature when you're posting in quick succession and just spread them out. Even if you spread them out so they go out once every 4 hours is probably better than having them one on top of the other. Because as you can see, you've had nothing going out in the last, was it 18 hours, I think it was up here, or 17 hours. So you could have been capturing more people and getting more reach for each of those posts if you'd have done that. So let's move down a little bit, but it's great that you're posting frequently. I'm very happy with that. So you're sharing some links, some information. It looks like you're providing value for your members and stuff. I like this here, find a pool anywhere in the world. So, you know, it's all on topic, which is great. And I'm also really impressed with the level of engagement you're getting. When we looked at your page up the top, sorry, I'll just flick back again. We're looking at 387 likes. So when we're looking at 387 likes, and I've seen in here, you know, in some places you've got 10, I think I saw somewhere earlier when I had a quick look around 18 people. Look, 24 people are liking these things. That's pretty good engagement for the amount of followers that you've got. So, and we're getting some shares in there, and we're also getting, you know, some comments in there, which is great. So, you know, just look at this, just a really simple thing. It's hope the weather is kind to everyone travelling to Yamba for the Clarence River Carnival this weekend. Have fun, everyone. That's really personal, and it's showing an interest in those people who are Masters Swimming that are involved in the events that are going on within your organisation, which is fantastic. So yeah, you're mixing it up a bit there, which is good in terms of content. So I think the main thing that I would say is try and schedule things out so they're not posted on top of each other. And it looks like you've got a great feed of potential sources of information, so keep that up. With your images, I'd probably see, I'm not sure if you're making them yourself, but an image in the news feed, 404 by 404 pixels is the ideal dimensions, so it will display properly. Now, there's two schools of mind on this. One is if people can't see it properly, they actually need to click on it, and then when they click on it, then they can see the full image, and that's a level of engagement that Facebook will see that they've, you know, a little bit interested in your content. That can go to help you a little bit in that respect. Now, the second school of thought is that people are lazy, and if you don't show them the full image when they're just scrolling through, particularly on a mobile device, when they may not have much time, they don't want to click on the image and wait for that image to load to see what it's on about. Whereas if they saw the full image in their newsfeed, then they may just click that like function straight away. And clicking on an image, yes, it does register to Facebook's algorithm in the most minute way that they're vaguely interested in your content. A like is a much more stronger indication that they're interested in your content. So I always recommend to try and have it in a dimension that people can see the full image straight away, and that's 404 by 404. But if pixels aren't your thing, then just try and make it square and it'll fit within the space. I'm noticing you're not putting any descriptions. I know that's a little off screen here, but there's no description over here. So a good idea sometimes is to have a little call to action, and that call to action, depending upon what your overall goals are for having the Facebook page, it might be to subscribe, it might be to join a competition, it might be to look up their local swimming club, it might be something like that. So think about that. And we've got 16 people that have liked this, and some of your other images have been shared. Use that opportunity to promote your, what you've got to offer within Master Swimming. Okay, let's head back up to the top of the page now. And I'm just going to have a look here. You've put yourself under sport, recreation, activities, which means you're limited in not being able to put your website here. But I think that's great now that Facebook has rolled out graph search so that you're actually in the category that people may search for you on. So let's just click on that and have a look to see what we've got in here. Okay, it's very much a lot about you. And I know that this is something that, you would think the About section should be about you, but I'd like to see a little bit more information in here about what you've actually got to offer people specific to Facebook. So when someone comes to this page, they click on here. Why should I like the Masters Swimming New South Wales Facebook page? What's in it for me? So in here, you might give them a little bit more of information as to, if you like our page, you'll receive, and let them know what your strategy is around what kind of content you're going to be sharing. Other than that, you've got all the contact details there, which is great. So let's dive a little bit into these apps and look at this. Wow, you've really gone to town with these apps here, which is great. Just from a branding perspective, and this is me probably just being a little bit particular here, I'd probably try and keep maybe more consistent images. So see how you've got the same consistent images through here, and maybe consistent font size, because it just to me it looks a bit more professional. But that's me just nitpicking. At the end of the day, it's not a big issue. It's more about the content that you're sharing. I'm going to start by clicking on this welcome one here and seeing where that takes me to. Okay, so this is taking me to what looks to me to be your attempt to get people to like your page. So I love the big arrow up there, really making it obvious how people can like your page. But I suppose where it's let down a little bit here is this bit. Like our page and see how much we love swimming. Okay, so that again, that's all about you, all about Master Swimming New South Wales, not so much about the person who you're trying to get to like the page. So I'd probably make this a bit more what's in it for your fan. So like our page, and join in the conversation about how much we all love swimming or how much you love swimming. So bring the person who's about to like your page into the mix here. And it's good to see that you're using ShortStack for your apps. That's a great tool there. So the next, I'm going to go and like your page, okay, and I'll see what happens next. Okay, so I've liked your page and nothing's happened. I've just gone back to the same page. I know within ShortStack you have the ability to set what a non-fan sees and then what a fan sees. Now, if a fan was to click on this page and click on welcome, it would just come here and say like our page, and it's like, well, I already do. So I would probably make it so that once someone's liked your page, it then goes to another page which says something, a call to action, and that might be visit our website for more information. It might be please post on our page, tell them what you're going to be doing. These are the kind of content. Maybe your page guidelines, because I see you've got that in another app. You could send them to the page guidelines so they know how they should be speaking. But I suppose it's more of yeah, I've liked. So what next? So try and mix that up and provide a little bit more information there. So then next one we've got is our national events, and it looks like you're using iframe here to go within to just pull this information straight from your website, which is a really good thing because obviously this is going to be updated on your website in a regular as time moves on, and you don't want to be updating it in two different places. Unfortunately, it means you've got to scroll sideways to see the full detail. It doesn't display perfectly well in here, but it's another opportunity to get in front of that information in front of your fans, so that's fine. Let's look at our clubs. Okay, I was a little bit confused when I first looked at this one because it says our clubs, and then we come here, it says we have 60 Masters clubs, and then there's not much here, and I know you say you're under construction, but when I flick to your actual website, and I'll do that now, sorry I have cut part of the page off, I see that you've got loads of clubs, so I question why you didn't come to this page or at least copy that information in there, because I suppose it looks like there's not many clubs in Masters New South Wales. If I was not a member and looking into this, I'd be a bit, confused. And then let's look at the ones that you've got beneath the fold. Now, I'm assuming these are the most important ones that you want to attract people's attention to. If it's not, once you've clicked on this arrow, as the page administrator, when you hover over any of these, a little pen will come up and allow you to switch the position of any of these apps. So try and keep the most important ones above the fold. Now, I'm assuming most people that come to this page would be interested in the swim meet results. So that might be one that you might want to promote over something like our clubs, particularly considering that that one's still under development. So I see you've got some stuff on documentation. Let's have a look at what that is. Okay, so this is great. This is a way that you can send people to your Facebook page and they can have access to these documents, which I'm assuming are of relevance to them. I've never used this before, Docs by Office. That's great. I might have a look at that myself and see how that can work. Hopefully that will be something that might be of interest to other people who are watching this audit. Now let's see what else we've got in here. I'll just skip back to the history of swimming. And I know Gary is the history of swimming, you're right there. Okay, so here's some history of swimming as provided by Gary. And then, of course, the all-important swim meet results, which, okay, if I click on these, let's see where this takes me to. Okay, and it takes me to the individual results. Oh, that's fantastic. Look, without even leaving Facebook, I'm getting to see, how I swam on the weekend, if that was me, for example. That's a really good app. And yeah, I'd probably promote that one to above the fold if I was you. And I really like this one here in terms of your house rules, where you've got some guidelines as how people should behave when they're on your page. That's a really great thing to refer to. Now, when you've got this up, you will have a little smart URL that will come here. I know ShortStack has that, and the administrators only will see that. You should be copying that smart URL and using that whenever necessary. So, I would do this for all of the apps, is to actually share them. So write something here about your page guidelines, for example, and share that smart URL so people can see it whether or not they're on their mobile phone or whether or not they're visiting from the desktop, and promote them regularly. And those page guidelines that you've developed are also, that URL is also great to share in the instance where you might have to remove someone's comment to the page. It backs up your reason for doing so. So I think that's fantastic that you've actually included this here. Not assuming that it's going to be necessarily within your community of adults. Let's hope they all behave appropriately, but it's a great thing to have regardless. Now, the last one I'm just going to have a look at is your events. So when I look at your events, you're actually making really good use of this in terms of putting in all of the events that are coming up, and it looks like you've been doing that for a while because you've got quite a few past events as well. The only thing I would question is obviously the number of guests that you've had that are actually saying that they're coming. So again, this is a sharing thing. So let's go to the upcoming events, and I can see that there's one on June 16th, which is only a couple of days away from when I'm actually viewing this. What you want to do is right up the top of the page, and it's just off screen here in the URL bar, we'll find, I'm just copying now, that URL. Now, if you go onto your page itself, let's just flick back here, you should be promoting this regularly. So pasting that in and encouraging people to join the event and also to invite their friends. So craft some statements and post that, but do that regularly. So on yours, you'll be able to schedule that. Obviously, I can't because I'm not an admin, but go in and schedule that. Once you create the event, go in and schedule that event to go out, maybe every couple of weeks right through until the competition. And that way you'll get more people that are actually indicating that they're coming to that event. Just skipping back to that event again. The other thing that I would do, and you'll have the ability on your page, is to actually share the event. So I'd look to share the event in some groups. And I'm going to talk more about how you should be using groups and other pages in just a sec. So let's get into that now. Okay, so you're doing a really good job in terms of your engagement, in terms of the apps you're developing and all of that. But I'm a little bit concerned for you that you don't have a lot of people that like your page at the moment, and therefore there's not a lot of people that are going to be benefiting from all this really good work that you're doing. So I think you really need to focus on increasing your page likes as the next step for you. Now, something I noticed that you've done really well here is that you've liked lots of other pages that are relevant to Masters Swimming New South Wales as your page, which is absolutely fantastic. So what I'd be suggesting that you do is actually going in and switching users so that you can start using the page as your page, and then when you click on the Facebook icon up here in the left hand corner, it will allow you to see the news feed of all of those pages that you've liked. So what I'd suggest you do then is go through and start engaging on some of those pages as Masters Swimming New South Wales that have lots of followers, and try doing it as soon as the post is put out. Don't worry about things that are more than 4 hours ago, because there's a good chance that you won't be getting much reach from the comments, but start putting on those ones that are really relevant and that may have your ideal audience that are already following them, to increase some awareness around your Facebook page. Another thing that I'd suggest you do in your admin panel, if you haven't done this for a little while, is go back into those build audience features and try and inviting email contacts, so you can actually export the full database of New South Wales members and import it in and invite them to like your Facebook page. And you may find that that's a good way to really kickstart the numbers. And the other thing I think you really need to start looking at is some of the Facebook groups. Now, what I've done is I've just opened up a couple of other pages here. Here's North Sydney Masters Club, which is one of your clubs in New South Wales. And as you can see, they've got 140 people that like their page. And I'm assuming not all of them do like Masters Swimming New South Wales, but they're probably interested in it, seen as though they're interested in one of your clubs. So then I'd go in here and start commenting as Masters Swimming New South Wales as soon as possible after something's been posted. I'd also speak to clubs such as North Sydney Masters and try to encourage them to share some of your content, and maybe even share some of those apps that you've developed where we've got the results, and get them to be pushing some people back through to your page. Another thing I've noticed is that there's a few groups that some of your clubs have rather than Facebook pages. So I would try to join some of these groups and join them as yourself, because you can't join them as your page, and then go in and join in the conversations that are already happening around Masters Swimming. And that will include sharing some of the content on your page within these groups. And that's a great way to convert people who are your ideal audience that are operating in different spaces around the same topic to become fans of your page. So overall, Roger, I think you're doing a really good job with the Masters Swimming New South Wales Facebook page. The two main things I want you to focus on is building your audience and also scheduling posts to make sure that you're consistently and regularly turning up in the news feed of those people that like your page, and that you're getting more bang for your buck every time that you post, because you're increasing the size of your audience and therefore your reach. So keep up the great work, Roger. I'd love you to have a go at implementing those strategies, and then visit our private Facebook group as part of the FB Business Success program, and let us know how you got on. Another thing I've noticed is that there's a few groups that some of your clubs have rather than Facebook pages. So I would try to join some of these groups and join them as yourself, because you can't join them as your page, and then go in and join in the conversations that are already happening around Masters Swimming. And that will include sharing some of the content on your page within these groups. And that's a great way to convert people from these. And that's a great way to convert people who are your ideal audience that are operating in different spaces around the same topic to become fans of your page.